Movie Friends is a film podcast for everyone, where two friends discuss some of the greatest films. Yes, Michelle?
Did you rehearse that?
Well, I'm reading it off a script for the commercial.
It's really not a commercial, it's a promo, but did you really think a script could describe our show?
Words are generally what are used to describe things,
No,
so yes?
No. Our show is fun. It's all about the dynamic between you and me and how you're a movie guy and how I'm definitely not a movie guy.
But you are like a movie guy.
No, and we talk about movies and we talk about life and cats and we're joking all the time. People listen for that stuff, not the movie stuff.
Right, but the movie stuff is like, that's the stuff.
Wow. Maybe you should have rehearsed this more.
Movie Friends. It's a podcast about film.
It's a podcast about friends. Listen and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and follow on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Patreon at Movie Friends Podcast. We want to be your movie friends.
It's time to head into the Wild West for some trivia. This week, our TV show of choice is a Western. So, put your hat on, saddle up the ponies, and let's dive into Deadwood. Back in March, this show broke a big milestone, 300,000 downloads. I want to thank you all for sticking with me for all this time. Your support has meant the world to me, so thank you. And with that, let's ride. The Dorky Round. Number 1. What Justified actor played Seth Bullock? Timothy Oliphant. Number 2. Who plays proprietor Al Swearigan? Ian McShane. Number 3. What Chucky actor played Doc Cochran? Brad Dourif. Number 4. Robin Weigert played what female gunslinger? Calamity Jane. Number 5. Played by Keith Carradine, what real-life gunslinger meets his end in the 4th episode of the series? Wild Bill Hickok. Number 6. What network initially aired Deadwood? HBO. Number 7. Deadwood is located in what current U.S. state? South Dakota. Number 8. Who was Bullock's partner in the hardware business? Soul Star. Number 9. What was the name of Al's saloon? The Gem Saloon. Number 10. Gerald McRaney played what real-world businessman on Deadwood? George Hurst. The Geeky Round. Number 1. Who played Alma Garrett? Molly Parker. Number 2. What late actor played Cy Tolliver? Powers Booth. Number 3. In the show and in real life, who killed Wild Bill? Jack McCall. Number 4. At the time of the show, Deadwood was not in a U.S. state, but where? The Dakota Territory. It wouldn't be a state until 1889. Number 5. Who travels with Wild Bill and Calamity Jane to Deadwood? Charlie Utter. Number 6. George Hearst was the father of what newspaper tycoon? William Randolph Hearst. Number 7. The show begins just after what major U.S. Army defeat? The Battle of Little Bighorn, also known as Custer's Last Stand. Number 8. Throughout the course of the series, Alma is addicted to what? Laudanum, or opium. Number 9. Which character marries Alma Garrett? Whitney Ellsworth. Number 10. Keone Young plays what leader of the Chinese population of Deadwood? Mr. Wu. The Nerdy Round. Number 1. Though canceled, the show had a movie sequel in what year? The movie came out in 2019. Number 2. What 2 historic lawmen and brothers passed through Deadwood in Season 3? Wyatt and Morgan Earp. Number 3. In what year did the show Deadwood premiere? It began in 2004. Number 4. How many seasons did Deadwood have? Three. Number 5. What was the title of the final episode? Tell him something pretty. Number 6. The first episode of the show takes place in what year? It begins in 1876. Number 7. What was Calamity Jane's real name? Martha Jane Canary. Number 8. Played by Jeffrey Jones in the show, Who was the editor of the Deadwood Pioneer? A.W. Merrick. Number 9. Who is credited with creating the show Deadwood? David Milch. Number 10. Seth Bullock was not born in the U.S., but which country? Canada. And we're done with Deadwood Trivia. How'd you do? Let me know on Spotify or Facebook. We're heading back to comedy next week. Here's a clue. What comedy, set in Seattle, is a spin-off of the show we covered last week in episode 273. This is a personal favorite of mine. See you next Wednesday. This was episode 274 of the Dorky, Geeky, Nerdy Trivia Podcast. If you'd like to help support the show, become a patron at patreon.com/dorkygeekynerdy. This podcast is written, produced, and hosted by me, Brian Rollins. If you're into audiobooks or looking to have your book turned into an audiobook, contact me at thevoicesinmyhead.com. This show was released under a Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, No Derivatives 4.0 International License. Thanks for listening.